There's a certain kind of silence that only shows up at 3 a.m. Not the soft hush of evening, not the peaceful quiet of dawn, but a heavy, contemplative silence that wraps around your thoughts and makes everything feel closer, louder, more honest. That's when Claire found the old sketchbook. She hadn't been looking for it. She was actually trying to find an extension cord behind the couch when her fingers grazed something rough. Cardboard-like, wedged between the wall and a stack of forgotten moving boxes. She pulled it out slowly, brushing off a thin film of dust. And there it was, a relic from another life. Her dream. Hello and welcome to Everyday Epiphany, where simple stories spark soulful insights. Sit back, enjoy the journey, and may it brighten your day. Claire hadn't drawn in years, not since college, when she spent long afternoons sketching in cafes, half latte, half charcoal smudges on her sleeves. Not since the internship turned into a full-time job, which turned into a promotion, which turned into meetings, reports, and carefully worded emails that somehow filled her calendar and drained her soul. She used to talk about art the way some people talk about love, breathless, a little afraid of how much it mattered. And now, she was 37, a marketing manager, mortgage payer, two-time plant killer, and according to her LinkedIn bio, passionate about strategy and storytelling. But that night, with the hum of the fridge and the city murmuring through her window, Claire sat cross-legged on the living room floor and opened the sketchbook. The pages crackled slightly, and there they were, her drawings. Unfinished portraits, cityscapes, a half-drawn elephant wearing a bowler hat, little pieces of the person she used to be. She laughed, unexpectedly, then cried. It wasn't sadness. Exactly. More like recognition. Like bumping into someone you used to love, someone who still lived inside you in ways you didn't realize. The next morning, Claire took the sketchbook to work. She didn't draw, not really, but she opened it during her lunch break, just glanced through it, like a secret, like something sacred. That became a habit. Every few days, she'd pull it out, maybe doodle a line or two in the margins of meeting notes. It didn't feel like much, but it felt like hers. One afternoon, as she was heading out of the office, her coworker Josh, who had a habit of asking surprisingly deep questions for someone who wore Star Wars socks every day, caught a glimpse of the sketchbook peeking from her bag. "You draw?" he asked. Claire hesitated. "I used to." "You should do it again," he smiled. "You always look happier when you're not talking about emails." That night, Claire bought a new set of pencils. Then came a quiet Saturday. Rain tapped on the windows. She had a to-do list as long as her arm. Groceries, laundry, tax documents, return that light bulb that didn't fit the new lamp. But instead, she pulled out a fresh sheet of paper and began to draw. It didn't feel amazing at first. Her hands were stiff, her lines clumsy. She got frustrated, cursed a little, erased a lot. But after a few hours, time had vanished. The rain had stopped. The light outside had shifted. And she had a sketch, imperfect, rough, but real. And for the first time in years, she felt alive. The truth was, Claire had never really forgotten her dream. She'd just filed it away. Like old receipts. Like winter coats in spring. Like so many of us do when life starts to feel more about maintenance than meaning. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't tragic. It was just slow. Life had become about what needed to get done, not what lit her up. But that sketchbook, that single object, reminded her that the pieces of ourselves we think we've lost are often just waiting quietly behind the couch. Later that month, while browsing a bookstore, another long-lost habit she was rediscovering, Claire stumbled upon a copy of Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She picked it up almost instinctively. In it, Gilbert writes, "A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and a hell of a lot more interesting." Claire smiled, because that's exactly what she'd felt. Not fame, not success, not the dream of being discovered or going viral. Just more life. We often think forgotten dreams are failures, but maybe they're just paused, waiting. Not every dream is meant to be monetized. Not every passion needs to be turned into a side hustle. Sometimes, it's enough to simply do it because it makes your heart beat a little louder, because it lets you remember who you were before the world got noisy. So if there's something you used to love, dancing, writing, planting, painting, baking, building, imagining, go find it again. Check behind the couch. You might be surprised by what's still waiting for you. Thank you for being here with us at Everyday Epiphany. If today's story touched your heart or sparked a thought, subscribe and stay with us. Your next epiphany might just be one story away.